Gwyneth and the Fantastic Candy House. In a little cottage at the edge of a big green forest lived a little girl named Gwyneth. Gwyneth had bouncy red curls and a pocket full of shiny pebbles she'd collected. One sunny afternoon, her grandmother's ball of blue yarn, as round as a pumpkin, slipped right out of her basket and began to roll away. "Oh, come back, silly yarn," laughed Gwyneth, and she chased it. The yarn bounced and rolled, past the garden gate, and right into the forest. Gwyneth ran after it, her feet padding on the soft, mossy ground, until she was deep among the tall, whispering trees. The trees grew thicker and taller, making the sunlight dance in little spots on the ground. Gwyneth looked around. The blue yarn was nowhere to be seen. She was all alone. "Where am I?" she whispered. Just then, a friendly-looking bird with a bright red breast hopped onto a branch in front of her. It chirped, cheer up," and hopped a little further. Gwyneth smiled. She decided to follow the little bird. It led her over a gurgling stream, under a giant fern, and through a tunnel of sweet-smelling flowers. The bird flew away, but Gwyneth stopped and stared. Her eyes grew as wide as saucers. She rubbed them, just to make sure she wasn't dreaming. There, in a beautiful clearing, stood a house. It wasn't a house of wood or stone. Oh no. The roof was made of shiny red and green gumdrops. The walls were crunchy, golden gingerbread, all swirly and decorated with icing. The windows were made of clear, hard candy, and the front door was a giant, perfect milk chocolate bar. The chimney puffed out little puffs of sweet-smelling cotton candy smoke. Gwyneth tiptoed closer, her mouth watering. She just had to see if it was real. She reached out a tiny finger and touched a gumdrop on the wall. It was squishy and sticky. She gave it the tiniest little tug. It came right off! She popped it into her mouth. It was the sweetest, fruitiest gumdrop she had ever tasted. She hummed happily. Just then, the chocolate door creaked open. A jolly man with a tall white chef's hat and a flowery apron stood there. His cheeks were as pink as candy hearts. "Well, hello there," he boomed in a kind, friendly voice. "Would you like to come in for a taste?" Gwyneth stepped inside the candy house. It was even more amazing inside. There were chairs made of solid toffee, and a table with a top made of peppermint. A striped candy cane was in a cup on the mantelpiece. The jolly man, whose name was Mr. Whisk, led her to the kitchen. It was a wonderland. The sink was a hollowed-out chocolate egg. The cups were made of hard sugar, and a jug held lemonade that fizzed with tiny, tasty bubbles. Best of all, in the middle of the kitchen was a giant bowl, and in the bowl was something pink and swirly and wonderful. "This," said Mr. Whisk with a twinkle in his eye, "is my whipped cream whirligig. Would you like a turn?" He gave Gwyneth a big spoon and showed her how to stir. As she stirred, the whipped cream began to spin and change colors. First it was pink, then it turned a lovely shade of blue. It smelled like strawberries and vanilla and birthday parties all mixed together. Gwyneth stirred and stirred, and soon the whole kitchen was filled with a happy, sweet smell. After the whipped cream whirligig, Mr. Whisk said, "A good stir always makes me hungry. Let's have a snack." For a snack, they nibbled on the window ledge. The clear candy was like a lemon drop, and had a cup of hot chocolate from the chocolate teapot. Gwyneth felt warm and cozy. She helped Mr. Whisk dust the sugar off a chair, and even helped him fix a loose gumdrop on the door. "But you know," said Mr. Whisk, looking out the candy window, "the fun is only beginning. The sun will be setting soon. My little candy friends will be waking up." Out from behind a sugar cube cupboard marched 5 little gingerbread men. They had icing smiles and currant eyes. They bowed to Gwyneth. From a cookie jar on the counter, 3 little shortbread ladies with sugar bead buttons hopped out and curtsied. Mr. Whisk clapped his hands. It's time for the candy cane jig. The gingerbread men and shortbread ladies joined hands and began to dance, tapping their little icing shoes on the toffee floor. Gwyneth laughed with delight. She joined in, holding hands with the gingerbread man, and they all danced and twirled as the cotton candy smoke from the chimney turned pink and purple in the setting sun. They danced until the first star appeared in the candy window sky. Gwyneth felt a happy tiredness all the way to her toes. But then, a little sad feeling poked her heart. She missed her cottage. She missed her grandmother. "Oh, Mr. Whisk," she said softly. "This is the most wonderful adventure. But I think I need to go home now." Mr. Whisk gave her a warm, kind smile. "Of course, my dear. The best adventures always lead us back home." He handed her a little bag tied with a licorice string. Inside was a single, perfect gumdrop. "For your journey," he whispered, "and to remember your adventure." A little gingerbread man led Gwyneth back to the edge of the forest. The moon was bright, and it lit the path right to her grandmother's cottage. She ran inside and gave her grandmother a huge hug. "Gwyneth, where have you been?" her grandmother asked. Gwyneth just smiled and put her hand in her pocket. Next to her shiny pebbles, she felt the little bag with the gumdrop. "I had the most fantastic adventure, Granny," she said, her eyes twinkling, "in a house made of candy." And as she drifted off to sleep that night, she could almost hear the faint, happy music of the candy cane jig and the taste of sweet adventures in her dreams.